September 28th, 2024, and it has been confirmed Hezbollah leader Hassan Nasrallah has been assassinated in an Israeli airstrike in Beirut. Now, I let you guys know this yesterday, that we did not have confirmation, and I told you I'd let you know once we found out, and it has been confirmed he has been eliminated, which means the entire tree of Hezbollah has been taken down. Now, there are still other members of Hezbollah that they are trying to eradicate at this time. Israel is still dropping bombs on Hezbollah in Lebanon to eradicate them. But like I said, it has now been confirmed that the Hezbollah leader Hassan Nasrallah, he has been eliminated, assassinated in the Israeli airstrike in Beirut. Now, in addition to that, though, coming out today, these headlines all coming out in the last 24 hours, Biden and Harris are calling the Israeli strike, the assassination of Hezbollah's Nasrallah, a measure of justice. Now, there are some that are updating saying that what has unfolded is causing a wedge, a divide between Biden and Benjamin Netanyahu. However, they are saying that Biden has now come out and said this is a measure of justice. This needed to happen to an unjust terrorist leader, Nasrallah. Now, in addition to that, take a look at this. Israel is now asking the United States to detour Iran after Hezbollah leader assassinated. Israel saying, we know what is coming next. There is going to be war, and they are asking the U.S. to prepare for the coming war, as they are saying that Iran will be coming after them in retaliation. Now, at the same time, we also have a lot of people saying, no, Iran, we're still waiting for the retaliation from before, from the assassination of Hania, and we still haven't seen that. So some people speculating that Iran might not be responding. They're just not ready for it. We've actually heard from the Iranian president saying, our economy cannot handle another war. Let's go ahead and de-escalate the situation. We're not prepared for a full-scale war with Israel, who is an ally with the United States. But we're hearing that Iran's saying they must retaliate in some form or fashion to what has unfolded. So we are yet to see. And as you can see, Israel is saying, the United States, please detour Iran after Hezbollah leader assassinated. United States, we are calling upon you to get involved because things are going to be intensifying. Now, I'm going to be sharing with you the latest headlines and also the latest video footage coming out on this, so that way you can see it for yourself. As I said, I'll be sure to keep you guys up to date on everything. These articles are going to be linked, cited in the description below. I try to cite all my sources just like a book report, hold myself accountable to the community, so that way you can know and see that it is the latest. Share it out with friends, family. Not only this video, but articles if you like, hyperlink down below. Also, do me a favor. I see we've got 1,231 people joining me live today, September the 28th, this Saturday. Take a second, if you appreciate the updates, and hit that like button for me. It just helps spread this out further so more people can get the latest information on the YouTube platform. Also, take a second to hit the subscribe button if this is your first time here. I'll be sure to keep you up to date. It's totally free. Why not? And in addition to that, make sure you're staying subscribed. We're hearing a lot of people getting unsubscribed. We think it has something to do with the YouTube settings and updates. So make sure you're staying subscribed to the channel. Turn on that notification bell to all, so that way as soon as breaking news comes out, you can get notified right away. And also additional resources linked in the description, so that way if you want to prepare now for escalation, various conflicts that we're hearing warnings of, you can check out the resources that are available down below. We've got a free power grid failure kit. There are resources for medications, for EMP-proof fabrics, and assortment of different things. Feel free to check them out down in the description below. But you guys, let's go ahead and get you caught up on the latest, and let me know your thoughts. Are things going to be escalating? Is the United States going to be getting pulled into an extensive war in the Middle East? This simultaneously happening as we're hearing that things are increasing and intensifying with Russia and Ukraine. And just yesterday, we saw Donald Trump come out and say, I'm going to end the war with Ukraine and Russia. But at the same time, we're hearing that things are escalating and Russia has changed their nuclear doctrine. And we're hearing major warnings of potential nuclear war. And World War III is the actual words being used right now to describe what is unfolding with Russia and Ukraine. So let me know your thoughts. Are we going to be entering into war? If so, drop a 3 in the comments. If you think no, we're going to be able to avoid this, we can de-escalate, it's still not too late, put a 4. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, and let's go ahead though and take a look at the latest. I'm going to get you caught up on these articles and the video footage so you can see it for yourself. Let's go ahead and take a look at this video footage right now.
We're back with a Fox News alert. Israel launching more strikes on Hezbollah in Lebanon overnight after a massive strike on the group's headquarters in Beirut that the IDF says killed the Hezbollah leader, Hassan Nasrallah. All this after Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu vowing to win the war in a fiery speech to the UN General Assembly yesterday.
As long as Hezbollah chooses the path of war, Israel has no choice, and Israel has every right to remove this threat and return our citizens to their homes safely. And that's exactly what we're doing.
Senior Vice President for Research at the Foundation for Defense of Democracy, Dr. Jonathan Schanzer, joins us now. Doctor, thank you for being here. Break down for our audience the significance of the developments of the last 24 hours. We've been focused so much on Gaza. Now, between the pagers and the killing of senior leadership and now the killing of Nasrallah, where is Israel in its fight against these groups?
Well, this was a major momentum shift last night across the entire Middle East. This is something that Lebanese are cheering, that Syrians are cheering. You got to remember Hezbollah took part in the civil war there that led to the slaughter of tens of thousands. The Israelis are obviously cheering it. There are Iranians that are cheering it. By the way, Americans and French who suffered from Hezbollah attacks should also be cheering this. But this is significant. This is a man who led Hezbollah, one of the world's most formidable terrorist organizations. Hassan Nasrallah was in that chair since 1992, 32 years of running this organization, developing it into a really formidable force, one that has 200,000 rockets, that has essentially held the Middle East hostage on behalf of Iran. This is an Iranian subsidiary. And so now he's gone. A lot of the other top leaders are gone. The Israelis are now openly mulling a possible ground operation in South Lebanon to finally take care of the threat that I think you rightly note has gone unnoted here in our media. Hezbollah has fired something like 8,000 rockets, missiles, and drones at Israel since October 7th. It's a war in its own right. And you finally see the Israelis turning the tide after 11 months. It's really a remarkable day.
Unlike Hamas, which is tied to Iran and its goals, Hezbollah has been a client state of Iran from the very beginning, founded by the Iranian Revolutionary Guard to be an extension of their fight against Israel. What does Iran do now? What is their calculation?
That is really the million-dollar question. You know, when you're watching the media in the region right now, everyone's waiting for an official response from the Islamic Republic. There is supposed to be a speech coming up soon by Ali Khamenei, the supreme leader, so-called supreme leader of the Islamic Republic. Last night, the Iranians were, threatening that the Israelis had opened up the gates of hell and that they were coordinating with Hezbollah, promising that there were leaders waiting in the wings to fill the shoes of Hassan Nasrallah. But I got to say, when I look around right now at what Hezbollah has left in terms of leadership, I don't think there's a lot there. I think right now that the Iranians look like they've been beaten, at least on this front. But you've got to remember also, the Iranians have been fighting Israel on 7 fronts. They still have Shiite militias in Iraq and Syria that can be deployed. They've got the Houthis in Yemen that can be deployed. The Iranians have, of course, their own ballistic missiles and drones that they can fire. They did back in April. They can do it again. So this is a big moment to see whether they try to step in and try to push Israel back, or whether they see that they've lost this round, they go back to their corner, and then we see what happens from there.
Yeah, that will tell us a lot, ultimately, about the condition they believe they're in. It's one thing to replace a leader. It's another thing to replace a leader when your entire organizational chart underneath it is gone, which is what's happened with Hezbollah at this point, and for good reason. Dr. Schanzer, thank you for your time.
There you have it, you guys, and we heard them say what is going to be Iran's next move. Now, do me a favor, if you can hear me okay, please put a 5x5. Sorry about the microphone issues. Drop a 5x5 if you can hear me and see me okay, as I am transitioning now to the articles to get you caught up on the latest as to what they are saying, as now we're hearing that Israel is asking the United States to prepare to deter Iran after the Hezbollah leader has been assassinated, as we're hearing that, man, it is looking like they're going to be going to war. And Israel is saying, the United States, we need you by our side for what is going to be coming. All right, I see the 5x5, so it sounds good. Let's go ahead and take a look at these articles so that way you can see the latest coming out. And this coming out just 6 hours ago with the updates. So let's go ahead and take a look. Now, this particular one coming out from Axios 6 hours ago, today, September the 28th, 2024, hyperlinked in the description below so you can see it for yourself. And this article says that Israel has asked the United States to take steps to deter Iran from attacking Israel in response to the Israeli airstrike in Beirut that assassinated Hezbollah leader Hassan Nasrallah and a top Iranian general, 2 Israeli and U.S. officials tell Axios. Now, why it matters, the Israel-Hezbollah conflict was already spiraling into an all-out war, and that's what we're hearing is unfolding right now. They're saying that we are on the verge of all-out war, and we're hearing that this is going to be pulling in Iran, the United States, other nations as well. So they said we're going to all-out war that could pull in Iran, and that was before Israel assassinated Iran's most powerful ally in the region, Nasrallah, an Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps general. Iran has been careful to avoid any attack on Israel that could pull it into such a war. But officials in Washington, in the United States, in Jerusalem, they are worried Friday's strike could push Tehran over the edge. Now, President Biden issued a statement on Saturday saying that he directed the Secretary of Defense to further enhance the defense posture of the U.S. military forces in the Middle East region to deter aggression and reduce the risk of a broader regional war. So we're hearing that this is the direction we're going. The United States right now, they are preparing. We are prepping for all-out regional war, and the United States would be involved by the side of Israel. Now, the latest. Biden had to call on Saturday on Vice President Kamala Harris and their national security team to receive an update on the situation in the Middle East, review the status of U.S. military force in the region, and direct ongoing diplomatic efforts to de-escalate the conflict, the White House said. Between the lines, the Israeli request for the U.S. support comes after Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu flip-flopped on a U.S. push for a ceasefire between Israel and Hezbollah and launched the massive attack without prior consultation, even as the U.S. was urging de-escalation. Now, I had shared this with you that the United States was pretty upset and shocked with the attacks that took place because the United States had told the world that we're on the verge of a ceasefire. We are on the beginnings of an agreement, and we believe that when Benjamin Netanyahu comes over to the United States and speaks addressing the UN, that we're going to have this all taken care of and addressed. Well, turns out that that was not the case, and in that UN address, we actually saw Benjamin Netanyahu address Iran directly and say, "We will strike you if you strike us. We are sick of the UN's anti-Semitic bile and very, very just drawing the line in the sand, saying we will not stop and we're about to continue on." And he held up 2 charts. One said the blessings and one said the curses with various nations on them. So the United States was pushing for a ceasefire, and we're hearing that it is beyond the point of that at this time. Now, the article says that President Biden and his administration have stressed that they had no prior knowledge of the attack that ended the life of Nasrallah, but they also haven't criticized it and have issued statements supporting Israel's right to defense. Nasrallah was a bad guy, but it is frustrating that the Israelis are doing this without consulting us and then ask that we clean up when it comes to deterring Iran, one U.S. official told Axios. So they're saying the United States is pushing for a diplomatic solution. They believe that potentially Israel could have been going that way, and now they're saying that then they flipped and they just went for all-out war. However, we're hearing from Israel that there is no diplomatic solution, that there is no agreement that has been presented at this time that they feel is aligned with what they want, which is getting back the hostages and stopping the relentless, brutal attacks from these terrorist groups. Now, another U.S. official said Nasrallah has blood on his hands, but the Biden administration doesn't see how Israel's whack-a-mole approach will address the larger strategic picture. Now, what they're saying, the statement from Biden said Nasrallah's assassination is a measure of justice for his many victims, and the U.S. fully supports Israel's right to defend itself against Iranian-supported terrorist groups. The U.S.'s goal is to de-escalate the ongoing conflict in both Gaza and Lebanon through diplomatic means. It continues mentioning negotiations for a deal to release hostages held by Hamas and establish a ceasefire in Gaza, and for a deal to return people to their homes on both sides of the Israel-Lebanon border. It is time for these deals to close, for the threats to Israel to be removed, and for broader Middle East regions to gain greater stability. Now, the driving news: Iranian Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei issued a statement Saturday that didn't defer directly to the death of Nasrallah, one of his closest foreign partners, but insists that Israel's attack will not weaken Hezbollah. However, let me know your thoughts, because we saw that chain of command chart, and they've literally taken down the entire top chain of command. And right now, as we speak, we are seeing fire going back and forth between Hezbollah, what is remaining, and Israel. And we're hearing that Israel is hitting Lebanon, the Hezbollah remaining soldiers, trying to make sure that nobody is going to be there to replace Hassan Nasrallah. The terrorist gang's ruling Zionist regime has not learned from its one-year criminal war in Gaza. Now they are testing the same absurd policy in Lebanon. All the resistance forces in the region stand with the support of Hezbollah. Lebanon will make the transgressing malicious enemy regret its actions, he said. The Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps confirmed on Saturday that its commander in Lebanon, Brigadier General Abbas Nilforoshan, was assassinated in the strike on Hezbollah's headquarters as well. Behind the scenes, in a conversation with the U.S.'s counterpart, Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin, after the attack on Friday, Israeli Defense Minister Yoav Gallant asked that the U.S. take operational steps and issue public statements to deter Iran from launching an attack against Israel, U.S. and Israeli officials have said. Secretary Austin stressed that the U.S. is determined to prevent Iran and Iranian-backed partners and proxies from exploiting the situation or expanding the conflict, the Pentagon said. So again, the United States is saying, we want to de-escalate the situation. We do not want this to go into an all-out, full-scale regional war. Now, the big picture: Iran has strengthened Hezbollah's military capabilities over many years to serve as a deterrent against Israel, especially from the possible attacks of Iran's nuclear program. Last April, Iran attacked Israel directly for the first time in history in retaliation for an Israeli airstrike that assassinated Iran's top general in Syria. The attack was mostly thwarted by an international and regional coalition led by the United States and Israel. Iran has vowed to respond to the assassination by Israel of Hamas's leader Ismail Haniyeh in Tehran 2 months ago, but hasn't yet done so. A lot of people, we had heard that we were going to be seeing that response within 24 hours, within the coming days, and it's been further and further and further, and now we are literally 2 months out. We still have not yet seen Iran retaliate for what unfolded, and now we're seeing this unfolding where Hezbollah, Iran's proxy group, is almost entirely annihilated by Israel. They're waiting to see if Iran will be responding. Now, in recent weeks, Hezbollah urged Iran to launch an attack against Israel, but Iran didn't agree to do so. We heard them saying that Hezbollah was calling upon Iran to please hit Israel. Iran saying now is not the right time. And we are now seeing Hezbollah in the last 24 hours almost completely, entirely wiped out. Now, friction points. 3 U.S. officials tell Axios the Biden administration supports the assassination of Nasrallah, but is frustrated about the lack of consultation and transparency from the Israeli side, saying we support the assassination of this terrorist group. However, the United States upset that they are not in the know of what is taking place. Austin, CIA Director Bill Burns, and CENTCOM Commander General Michael Kurilla were all briefed by their Israeli counterparts as the operation was already underway and without real possibility to weigh in or express their opinions, the U.S. officials said. Now, what's next? One U.S. official said that the Biden administration's top priority now is to avoid an Israeli ground invasion in Lebanon, as well as prevent direct Iranian involvement in the fighting and reach a diplomatic solution that allows civilians on both sides of the Israel-Lebanon border to return home. It says this story has been updated with statements from President Biden and the White House on Saturday. today. So there you can see that this is the most recent information coming out, you guys. Today, September the 28th, 2024, as things appear to be escalating. And we're hearing, as you just saw, the White House, United States of America, they're saying their number one top priority is to stop this from growing into an all-out war in the area, trying to get both sides to come to some sort of diplomatic solution. Let me know your thoughts. Again, do you think that we are going to go to all-out war? If so, put a 3 in the comments for World War III. If you think we're going to be able to de-escalate the situation, avoid it, maybe Iran won't retaliate after essentially being humiliated by Israel, having their entire proxy group wiped out, put a 4. If you think we're going to be able to avoid World War III, put a 3. If you think war is imminent as things and tensions are escalating and rising. And as you can see here, Israel calling upon the U.S. We are not exempt. We are directly involved with what is going on in the Middle East. They are calling upon them to get involved and to try to deter Iran from escalating the situation right now in the Middle East. Man, and I see a ton of 3s pouring in. I see a couple of 4s here and there, but it looks like the vast majority of the room. We've got 2,239 people live with me in the room saying it looks like World War III is upon us. Now, do me a favor. If you haven't done so yet, please hit the like button. Just help spread this out further so more people can see the latest information here on the YouTube platform if you haven't done so. And again, you guys, we are hearing that the assassination of Hezbollah's leader, Hassan Nasrallah, it has been confirmed with those airstrikes that unfolded in Beirut yesterday. I shared that with you live as it was coming out, that it had not been confirmed. Now it has been confirmed. Nasrallah has been eliminated. And also, we're hearing that Biden is calling this Israeli strike, the assassination of Hezbollah's Nasrallah, a measure of justice, saying there was blood on his hands, and this was justice being served. But we're also hearing this is driving a wedge in the relationship between the Biden administration and Netanyahu, as they're saying, you're making these moves, you're not letting us know what's going on, and it's becoming very difficult. The United States not happy with what is going on. So we will see, though, because things are intensifying, and like I said, there's actually attacks going on still right now as we speak. However, the top chain of command has fallen apart for Hezbollah. And also, we're hearing the communications have totally crumbled and fallen apart after those attacks on the pagers, the walkie-talkies, the electronic devices that they use for communications, all being destroyed. So right now, Hezbollah, a mess, absolutely a disaster, totally torn apart by Israel. Now, we're going to be seeing, like I said, what the response is from Iran, but we are seeing Israel calling upon the United States, saying now is the time, step up, make sure that Iran does not retaliate and cause a wider regional conflict as we are defending ourselves, hitting back these proxy groups and eliminating them from further attacks. And they're still waiting for there to be some sort of agreement that makes sense for Israel where they can get their hostages back from Hamas. So things are escalating in the Middle East, and it looks like the United States, we are right in the middle of it. Now, in addition to that, like I said, I'm going to have more information coming out for you regarding what is unfolding with Russia and Ukraine. As we are hearing that Russia has changed its nuclear doctrine, Russia is also saying that they will declare World War III and the use of nuclear weapons available if they see long-range missile strikes occurring into Russia from Ukraine while they are using U.S. and NATO weapons. And we are hearing that it looks like it's going to be going that route here very soon. However, yesterday as well, let me know if you saw it, Donald Trump meeting with Volodymyr Zelensky, the president of Ukraine. They had a meeting, and Donald Trump is saying, we're going to put an end to this war, that this war will not unfold. I'm going to stop it. Let me know your thoughts. If you think that Donald Trump is going to be able to stop the war with Russia and Ukraine, put a 45 in the comments. If you think he's not going to be able to, put a 46. Charlie Jones, thank you for the $5 super chat. Too much going on in general between the wars, potential multiple shipping dock shutdowns. That whistleblower was warning us all, says Charlie Jones. Thank you for the $5 super chat, Charlie. Yes, there is a lot going on, and I will keep you up to date on everything. And yes, if you haven't seen that video, I shared with you guys that they are saying prepare now. And I've actually had people from the Longshoremen's group, the ILH, if I remember correctly. I can't remember the acronym for the group, but I've actually had them reach out to me on Instagram at SteveRam3. I've had DMs. They said, let people know this is going to be happening. We haven't come to any sort of an agreement yet, and we are prepared to have everything shut down on October 1st. So you guys, if you do not have supplies of food, water, additional resources available, we're hearing 50% of U.S. imports are about to be impacted. You have 3 days. If you have additional funds to get resources, to get things lined up, because October 1st, we're hearing there could be a massive shutdown if there is no agreement made. And we're going to be seeing 50% of products that are imported to the United States not making it in, as ports will be shutting down. So we will see, though, you guys, and I will keep you up to date every step of the way, so that way you and your family are aware of what's taking place. And like I always say here on the channel, though, I share this with you not to be scared, but be prepared. I don't believe that we should have a spirit of fear or be afraid of what's going on, but we cannot stick our heads in the sand and pretend like nothing is happening, because these things are happening. We need to be aware, and we need to take necessary steps to make sure that we are ready. A wise man sees what's going on, and he changes his path, make sure that he doesn't fall into calamity. But the fool sees what's going on, the simple, and just keeps going and falls into calamity. So the proverb says we need to be not scared, but prepared. And knowledge is power, but the application of knowledge is power. I always say knowing what's going on and then taking the next steps to make sure that we are ready. So, like I said, though, I will keep you guys up to date on everything, so that way you know exactly what is going on here on the channel. And again, do me a favor, if you appreciate that, take a second. We've got almost 2,400 people on with me live. Hit that like button, help spread this out further so more people can see the latest. Also, subscribe to stay up to date. It's totally free. Why not? And all of these articles that I'm referencing, linked in the description. I cite all the resources like a book report, so that way you can see it for yourself. But that is the latest, you guys. Thank you so much for joining me. I'll keep you up to date, and I'll catch you in the next one. Take care. God bless. This is Steve.